controls, buttons, a bit of fun. Then, somewhere along the way, the big platforms moved in. Last year, $200 billion flowed upwards, away from the people who actually play. This year, they take it back. YOM, where players play games straight from your PC, not a data center in Virginia. Meet Tyler Pemberton. Yes, this looks dramatic, but he's perfectly fine. Tyler's offline. His PC isn't. 47 players streaming from his GPU right now. Even AFK, Tyler's rig is pulling its weight. He's making money in his sleep. Maybe this is what happens when gamers finally take control of their own world. Turn your idle GPU into passive income. YOM.net. Eat, sleep, earn, repeat.
Good morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. Good middle of the night, maybe even for some of you folks. Thanks so much for stopping by. Yes, Walter is back. Apparently, it worked pretty good. So on Wednesday was April Fool's Day, and I had a chance to go ahead and play a quick joke. So I quickly banged out Stan, the rainbow-colored unicorn, as our new mascot. And there were some people who, I'll say, fell for it, but they didn't realize it was a joke until eventually other people in the community kind of clued them in. And then I kind of stood up and said, listen, we're not getting rid of Walter. Walter's very important to us, and we love Walter. Walter cuts hard. He's kind of good for us. So welcome to the live stream. I don't have a guest today. There's a chance we'll have a pop-in uninvited guest, but as far as it stands right now, I've got no guest today. I do have quite the agenda, though. If you weren't able to tune in on Wednesday, I went through the entire watch my node, turn on, play a game, payment system update, but there's even more that I didn't realize I could show. Now I know I can show it, thanks to Ron, our CTO, kind of walked me through the steps so I can show you on chain where the transaction's happening and everything, how I'm getting YOM tokens in my wallet for running a node out of my home. So if you're not familiar with us, again, as the commercial says there at the very beginning, we have built a decentralized cloud gaming network. We allow publishers to publish their game onto our network, and then it can reach players not just in our portal walter.gg, but also you can embed the stream on a website. You can throw it inside a Telegram, inside a Discord. Basically, any place you can embed a YouTube video, you can embed our game stream, our interactive stream from our decentralized network. What this means is player discovery is so much less friction. There's so much less friction. So people who are used to finding games through a service and are having to open up an account, and many of them have to have the big hardware and everything. We enable people to play through our cloud on a phone, on a low-end laptop, on their TV, through Chromecast. There's all kinds of ways to do it. But what we're doing is, for the gaming industry, we're opening it up so that players can play wherever they actually are during the day. Omni-stream, so if you're playing it for a little while on your PC and then you go on the road, take the same game onto your phone and still play. So this is what YOM has built. And we're getting out there and getting noticed. I have another article, a couple articles to go over to talk about how cloud gaming is starting to replace and grow into the space, in the gaming industry space. So we'll go through all that. First, what I like to do, usually what I do is I kick off the stream with some images of Walter as our mascot, as we wait for people to kind of come into the stream, give some people time to find us. And we have invited the community to generate their own Walter images. Now, if you don't know who Walter is, he's our mascot. He's actually this guy over here. He's a rust-colored gorilla, slightly overweight, wears jeans and a white t-shirt that says YOM, rounds, blue tinted sunglasses. This guy over here, I'm going to assume, is YOM's greedy cousin. because Walter's greedy cousin, because he's looking to take all the Bitcoin and cash for himself. But I thought this picture of Walter is probably the best one we had generated this past week. This is from Bad Guy. So Sam Ekrovi. You guys can see the name up top here. Follow this guy on Twitter if you're not following him already. It's good to have people like this in our community. There were some other images too. Master Kelvin always crushing it with another Walter image, looking hardcore and kind of modern there. Appreciate that. Still Master Kelvin. The other thing for the community, if you haven't caught on yet and didn't see the announcement, we have set a date for the lock for season 1. Season 1 is going to end at midnight on the 16th, or excuse me, just before midnight on the 16th of April. So get in then, and we'll start season 2 starting on May 1st. So and there's going to be more. I've even seen some of the previews of what's going on with the Quest system. It's looking very good. If you haven't seen the dashboard or the Quest system right now, Rehan has jumped into the first place over EJ on Wednesday. EJ was in the lead. You'll see a newcomer to the list. I've reached up to spot number 9, beating out our CCO Andy. So we've been crushing it this week. It's really good to see all the community activity going on in the Quest board. Let's see. So as I said, I've got some. I'm going to show the whole pipeline. It's exciting to see how everything's working. But first, let me share a little bit of industry news. I came across this article on IGN. Part of what I do is I spend a lot of time looking at the gaming industry because, again, I think what we're offering, we have our thesis is that what we're offering the gaming industry is a much better way to reach more and more players who are shut out because they can't afford the hardware or all these other constraints that people have to playing and buying a console or playing high-end video games. Because it's powered by our network, we can allow for more people to play. This article kind of speaks again. It's just one other article supporting what we're building. It's basically supporting our thesis. So there are 4 main points. I want to make sure I took some notes. There are 4 main points in this article touches on, and the reason why the gaming industry is asking this question: are we falling out of love with the traditional video games? And by traditional video games, they're talking about buying a console system or buying a heavy duty PC. One of the things they're talking about is our RAM apocalypse, right? Or Ramageddon, I guess they're calling it. So the price of RAM has gone skyrocketing high, and it's affecting the console production pipeline for all the big players who are making their new consoles. Are all kind of delaying because they realized if they were to launch, first of all, it's hard to get those chips, and secondly, it's going to be even more and more expensive. They're going to have to jack the price up on their hardware. So they're not sure what to do. They're kind of stalling out and waiting. So that's one part of what the article is talking about. And again, because we allow people to play the high-end video games off of our network, or the compute's done from our network, but people are just streaming it through their phone, the high-end PC hardware and RAM apocalypse is kind of solved. Ramageddon, excuse me. It's kind of solved with what we're building over here in the YOM network. The second thing this article touches on is that there's still a lot of people who are stuck playing the same game they've been playing. I'm not sure where it says in here, but games that they've been playing for the last 10 years, the live version of those games. So the new games are having a hard time getting discovered once again. There is more acceptance of the cloud gaming networks, like the competitors, I guess, in the Amazon has one, and of course GeForce Now and Xbox Live. But again, with those central server models, the costs are so exorbitant, they don't really scale. And if you're too far away from that major data center where it's being housed, and most people are farther away than what latency will allow for, the physics just interfere. Our network is, again, if you're not familiar, we let people who have a PC at home, like I have it over in my office here, they have a PC running in your home that you don't use all the time, or like when you go to bed at night or you go off to work, you can put your gaming rig on our network and we'll pay you to allow us to use your GPU when you're not using it. And that's a way to earn passive income. Anyways, what that means is that the player who's living in the town or city close by to you is now playing off of your machine. They're not having to reach all the way out to a data center all the way up in, say, New York, and having the latency issue that's going to happen when you have distance like that. You can throw all the fiber you want at it. If I'm trying to game from a data center up in New York, I'm going to have lag. But if it's coming from where I am, close by to me, somewhere in the Atlantic Southeast of the United States, I'm going to have a much easier system. A much lower latency to play on. The other thing the article touches on is all the other, the other activities that people are jumping into, the TikToks and the YouTube Shorts and all these other We'll leave OnlyFans out of it for now. But all these other systems that people are using for their leisure time you can just jump right into and play. With the traditional, again, asking why are we falling out of love with the traditional video game system, that whole download, install, wait for updates, and then start playing loop can be 20 minutes, 40 minutes. And people they're moving quick. They're jumping right into Discord. They're jumping right into TikTok. They're jumping right into Instagram. So the attention span is shorter, and they want to play quicker. So a cloud network like ours, where the game is posted inside of a Discord channel or inside a Telegram, people are jumping in and playing immediately. If you're a game publisher and you want your game to be seen and played with no friction, this is the kind of funnel that you need. And again, we're the only cloud gaming network that allows you to embed a stream of the game inside of all these different channels, your own website, Telegram, Discord, those kinds of things. And the last thing they're talking about is the cost of these central servers. It's part of this article here is talking about how the central servers being so expensive, they're jacking up subscription prices for these services like GeForce Now and Xbox Live, or they're putting gates, they're putting commercials in there to let you play you can play for free, but you only play for an hour, and then you have to come back 7 days later for the next hour. It's kind of craziness. So that's the deal with the cost of the central servers. Our cost for streaming is about 95% cheaper than because we're not building a big building. We're not trying to air condition a big data center. And we're not running into all those hassles that you have with the traditional system. So once again, another article supporting the thesis, a decentralized cloud gaming network is going to be the only way for games to cloud game stream cost effectively. This, again, opens it up for not just the big boys, but all those independent titles, all the quirky titles with great game mechanics that people aren't getting a chance to see when it's just embedded inside of a Discord thread. And I'm just sending it to you and saying, check out this new game. It's really quirky. There's no friction for you to jump in and start playing. I also wanted to touch on, so again, this article talks about the cost of those data centers. There's more than just the cost. Again, a simple search of data center pushback came up with, 10 articles just from yesterday and today. So this from the Los Angeles Times. Data center, again, getting pushback. There's the massive protest to the idea of building a big data center right in all of California. All of California is kind of pushing back. And to say that you're not going to have a data center close by to stream your game from just means that you're going to run into all those latency issues I was talking about. The data center model is very expensive. It is very environmentally damaging. And it's expensive also not just for the cost of building the building, but with AI trying to grab every GPU cycle they can grab, the gaming systems are just not going to have, they have to compete with all that, that scarce resource. What we said before and say it over and over again in all of our documentation is that the unutilized GPU cycles that are on all the gaming rigs around the world, certainly in the US, but really all around the world, it's an untapped resource. It's like having a massive oil reserve that's just sitting in the ground that no one wants to tap into because they just haven't figured out how. And it is complex. I mean, we've been building this for 3 years. It's not the easiest. We got 3 patents that are pending because it is difficult is the reason why you're not seeing everyone try to do it. But the decentralized model where we're using all those GPU cycles from all these machines that are sitting idle for 90% of the day, that system is really the only way that cloud gaming is going to scale economically and then open up the market to not just the large publishers, but all the publishers. So yet again, another article talking about the pushback that these data centers are having. Let's jump into, and I didn't have the chat up this entire time, so let me make sure I bring the chat up and I can hear everybody's talking about. Let me jump into the meat of the broadcast today. So I'll get out of here. On Wednesday, so we do a town hall on Wednesday nights, U.S. time. It's 7 p.m. East Coast U.S. time, which I think is 1 a.m. in Europe. But on the East Coast of the United States, it's about 4. I'm sorry, on the West Coast, it's about 4 in the afternoon for those folks. And then we do again on Fridays at noon Eastern, which is about 6 p.m. Central European time, but 9 a.m. for the West Coast of the U.S. And we try to go over, not just the community notes and not just the industry news, but also our progress on our project. So on Wednesday night, this past Wednesday night, I brought up, and I'm going to bring it up again, the dashboard that we've built for the node operators. So you can see, and again, like I said, I've got a second machine over there, and On Wednesday, I mistakenly said that my machine over there is a 3060. That's not true. The one I'm running on, the one I do my work on, is a 3060. That one over there is a 4070. My son came in and right after my broadcast on Wednesday, I was like, "You screwed that all up. That's a 4070." He should know. He helped me put it together. So I got a 4070 running over there. Let me show you what it looks like on the dashboard. Let's see. Bring this up over here. And that. I'll click that. Here we go. So this is my host. It's called GW18, Glasswalker18. Glasswalker is my gamer name from 1998, Half-Life, the first Half-Life. Anyways, you can see that I've got a single node. The way that our system works is if you have a powerful gaming rig, you will be able to host more than a single stream at the same time. Right now, we're just set up. My system is only set up for the single node, but on a 4070, it's likely I could host like 8 streams at the same time. It's also dependent on how fast your network connection is. I'm kind of out in the middle of the rural part of South Carolina, so my speed's not as fast. I mean, throttled a little bit, not be able to do 8 full streams. But there's ways. We have a rig check. I'll send a link of that out so people can see that. But you can check and see how well your system would do. Anyways. So we can look at the entire network and you can see, again, I said I'm the upstate of South Carolina. This is me over here, GW18. My node is online in the other side of the room. So what I'll do is I'm gonna fire up one of the games off of YOM.net and just start playing. And you'll see the notification that my node has gone live. And then I'm gonna show. Oh, I probably should show right before I start. So my earnings so far this month, I've banked 15.2084 YOM tokens. And what we're going to do is I'm going to play a session. You'll see it live on my node, and I'll come back to this, and you'll see that I've been paid out 0.02 or something like some area of that of the YOM tokens into my bank because this dashboard is tied to that machine that's over there passively earning income for me. And then we'll go to the tracker that shows the on-chain transaction that showed that I got paid out as soon as the session ended. So let me jump into a game. Let's see. I will go to, I'm going to open it up right here. .yom.net. And let's fire. So the difficulty here is I'm going to want to play for too long because I just love, if you haven't followed on so far, I do love Roughneck Rumble. For me, it's a fun little shooter built in Unreal. It features the Martian versus Roughneck characters and that whole line that I'm just a big fan of. So I'm gonna try to keep my session down low enough that we jump into the jump back to what the goal of this whole thing was just to show that I've earned YOM tokens by playing the game.
YOM
launched. And I apologize. So I'm streaming through Restream, so there's a chance that you're not going to see it running as smooth as I am. But Restream's pretty good so far. It's been doing okay for me recently. So let me see if it comes up. We are doing, I should mention this too. We're doing some maintenance on the whole network right now because we're getting ready to move from DevNet to mainnet. So I know that we've had sessions that have started and stopped, and you'll receive notification oftentimes if you jump in and it didn't fire off like it was supposed to. So, and I think I'm getting that same hookup right now. Let me see if I can bring that back up again. Oh, your patience is appreciated. All right, I'm going to try. Let me do the jungle experience instead. See if it's any smoother. I'll do that up again. Frozen solid. Yeah, I went full screen. That was my issue. So we have I think 7 games that are running. This is the jungle experience. It is again built in Unreal. You should be able to see me kind of moving around the world. The speed on this, I think I've got like 60 frames per second. It's been awfully fast. But I am hosting a session right now from that, and I should probably show that part too. That was the whole point of this. So if I go back to my dashboard and look at the network, you will see that my node's got a little red dot on it. I am hosting a session. That is the one that's playing on the other window. So that is playing. And then it doesn't show until after I've I guess I should just go ahead and cancel out of the session. So if I cancel out of the session and go back to my dashboard and my earnings, you will see that my earnings have increased. I think I was at 1806, right? So it's 2301. By going to our token tracker, we can see that, and I'll just refresh this page. See that I got paid out, and it'll be a few seconds ago. There it is, 21 seconds ago. This was the transaction, and it went to 3 different wallets. So I received 0.0217. That's 40% of what was generated. The network itself earned 55% of what was generated, and then we burned 5% as well. So that is the live transaction that just happened again 2 seconds ago. I'm earning passively from that machine sitting over there, doing its thing. And this is the whole concept of beyond just being able to decentralize a stream and making it reach easily to players who don't have a heavy duty PC, and to help the gaming industry reach more players because of the speed, the zero friction passageway that we have to playing. There's the economic act. People are going to be looking to ways to earn money from the equipment that they own, and this is again a great way to do this is through a decentralized network. But all the decentralized networks that have kind of launched in the past, not all of them, many of the decentralized networks that have launched in the past are kind of groping around for an audience, where cloud gaming is already an established industry. It's getting bigger and bigger, more and more recognized by gamers as the way to play. So this is, again, a marketplace that's looking for a solution that will allow it to scale, which is what decentralization allows us to do. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. We know this, but it is not easy. I have a few, I have a few comments from some people. Let's take a look. Game discovery on YOM is going to be frictionless and massive in volumes because the end users, players, are going to be able to play for free. That is true. That is true. However, the game developers themselves are going to be able to put up, they have to make money from their games, right? So they'll either, it's the way that we structure the system, it is the entirely flexible. There'll be some developers who will want to throw up ads maybe to their other games. There are some developers who will put up a demo of their game and then push you towards the download and install, pay for it, download and install. There'll be some that'll have microtransactions. So same as you would do with Fortnite, they'll make the money through in-game purchases. There'll be others that will put up at the very beginning and say, pay 50 cents to jump in and play the game. So we can say that the games are for free. That's probably not true. Game developers have to make money. It's the only way they really stay in business. But the ease of getting in, and because they can draw in many more players than they used to be able to before, and because their costs are so low to host it on the cloud that we've built, then the price that they can charge can drop. So that's the whole point of saying that. I don't want to say that they're going to give their games for free. Not all of them will give away their games for free. Let's see. What games will you provide through Face Blue Smiling? Face Blue Smiling. I'm going to get what that means. What games will you guys provide through? We're open to any game, so we're not locked by any engine. Pretty much any game that runs on a PC, we can run it. So the catalog is wide open. We have about 40 studios that we have signed agreements with that want to get their games on the network once it goes live into mainnet. So I don't know that there's an end of how many games we're going to have on the network or which ones, but you're going to see some big names. We've already got Skyrim up on walter.gg. So if you're in an area close by to a node, you can play Skyrim for free off of our network. You see why and how see so much real. You see how why and how much receives in real time. JLo, I want to love your comment, but I'm not sure that I follow. So I'm going to jump to the next one. Jeff, how easy is it going to be for some other business to copy what YOM is doing? At the end, it's going to race to who's going to maintain and incentivize node operators, or is there something more to that mode? So the question is, how is it we're not getting are we in competition with a whole bunch of other players in this market space? How easy is it to copy it? Well, we have patents to help protect us, but ultimately, I think the technological barriers to building what we're building is what's going to stop a lot of the people from trying to do it. It is hard. We've seen some of our competitors, and I don't want to say Aether by name, but I will, who had said that they were going to build a decentralized cloud network and a decentralized AI network so that they can host So they wanted to be able to do both AI calculations and games at the same time. What we realized when they announced this was that they were going to find out that the architecture for those two things are very different, and AI is going to be immediately profitable. I mean, it's easier to do, and there was a big rush. Everyone kind of jumped into the AI bubble, so they did. And then they eventually realized we can't do games. So they dropped the whole game. You won't hear them talk about their games any longer. What they're doing is they're doing games from a central server. Decentralizing the game stream is very, very difficult. So are we worried that somebody else is going to do it? No. We've seen everyone who's announcing that they're launching their cloud gaming service. All of them are using centralized servers. So they're all going to be constrained. They're all going to have massive bills, and they're all going to eventually face the physics of distance creates lag. And they're not allowing the community to earn money from their system as well. I think that's a big piece for us, because the money that you earn from running your node, you're going to put back in the gaming industry more likely than not. So once again, we're doubly helping out the gaming industry reach more players and then empower those players to spend more money. So there you go. All right, Dota 2 first. That is on the list. Dota 2 is around the corner. Can I say that? That might be letting out more alpha than I was supposed to, but I'm going to say it anyways. Yeah, Dota 2 is around the corner. Love the solid base YOM is building. Built to last. Yes, thank you so much. Can we make money through YOM as game developers? Yes. So again, the way that we're building the system, it is going to be as easy to upload your game executable as it is to upload a YouTube video to YouTube. So we want to empower the small game developers, the independent game developers, to have a channels where they can put their game out. And the way that we're doing this is we have different tiered packages. So if you've made a small game, then it doesn't cost, it doesn't take as much space up on our network. It's not as GPU intensive for our network. We won't charge the same as we would for the games that are massive and they have a real drain, or they really constrain the resources. So we have a tier system, and that is to allow for those independent game developers to get their games out there. So if people who aren't familiar with my background, I've been making video games for about 25 years now. It's been a long time, 26 years. I started in 2000. And I always gravitated towards, I had the good fortune of working in a couple of large studios making console games for Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. And I started off in GameCube. But then I also worked for a good amount of time with a studio that was making smaller games it was a studio for hire, and they made some of the more quirky, fun titles. We did a lot of VR. I did over a dozen VR titles. And those smaller games that had a small game loop with a mechanic that was unusual, those to me were always the most fun projects anyways. So I'm looking to hope, I expect that YOM is going to allow for those kind of quirky titles with a game mechanic they haven't seen anywhere before, find a way to reach its players. So that's a big part of what we're building at YOM, part of our DNA. So yes, you'll be able to make money. So again, what you'll be doing is publishing your game in the same way as you put your YouTube video up on YouTube. And then however you monetize is how you monetize, whether you tie into an ad service or whether you do microtransactions or whether you put subscription. Again, you can put that game stream on your own website and have a gate at your website that allows people to come in through payment system. We do integrate with a number of different Web3 wallets as well. So if you wanted to charge through cryptos, you can do that as well. There's a lot going on. The system itself is as flexible as we could possibly make it. You won my heart as a small game developer. Oh, sure, Flashy place. So you can go to yom.net. We have I'm gonna make sure I'm saying it right. But if you go to yom.net, you'll see there's a whole section there for developers to reach out. Oops, I did that wrong. To reach out and talk to us. Let's see. As operators. Yes. Info at yom.net is the best way to reach out and ask the questions if you have more questions. Or honestly, join the Discord. We've got a lot of really smart moderators who are able to point you in the right direction and talk to you about what the network is, where it is now, and where it is going to be. I should also touch on that other part of the discussion, because our community was getting all geared up, and we were getting all geared up for a TGE in the middle of March. We realized that new European regulations, the micro regulations, they kicked off live on March 1st. Kind of took us, or March 15th, took us by surprise because we had been starting the process, but we expected we were going to get ready in time for these new regulations, but it can't come up too fast. And the process for getting all these, getting through all the loops, all the hoops were slower than we expected it to be. So we had to push out the TGE. We don't have a final date yet. We have to work with our partners on what date makes sense. And so when we have that, we'll announce that. But I was going somewhere with that. Where was I going? Yeah, so the community, I'm sure, is probably waiting for some more news on that. What I can give you, and the same update I gave on Wednesday, our LEI has been received. We received it back. That one finally came through. That took from January to March to get that approved. That's been approved. We have to use that paperwork. We'll use that paperwork to file for the DEI, and the DEI has gone in, and we're waiting to find out how fast. And that one should not take as long. Again, fingers crossed. We're waiting to hear back on that. And when that finally comes in, then we can go ahead and schedule our launch. When Rohan is a guest, I tried to get him today, but again, as a CTO of an emerging technology company, you can imagine how many plates he's spinning. So he felt like, I'd love to, but I still want to kind of get my work done for the day, for the week. And so I kind of cut him a break. We are going into Easter weekend as well. And I in Europe, apparently, you guys have Easter Monday, and we don't have that in the States. So today's Good Friday, which is great. If you celebrate, happy Easter coming up on Sunday. But then we go back to work on Monday, and Europe has a Monday off. So he's looking at a 3-day weekend. I didn't want to kind of pin him down. So Rohan soon, but I can't tell you exactly when. Can we access YOM like China and India, because Xbox sucks a lot and it's a very bad thing? Yes, we know this. Xbox Live is having that problem that we keep talking about, which is why we're the solution. So yes, we have Node actually running in India. Let me. I guess it depends on where you are in India. Let me bring up my network map again, and we can show you. But again, this is testnet. It's not mainnet, so don't get discouraged to see that the nodes have grown very, very far and wide. So, and then again, they're in the middle of a major update. So they told me to don't sweat how nice North America looks, East Coast of North America, and how grayed out right now Europe is because of the tests that they're running. But here we are down in India. This is our node. It is now offline. It's Rohan's family, I think, is working on that node. They are in Pune, if you're familiar with Pune in India. And as far as Southeast Asia, that is our next push to get more and more. As a matter of fact, I can show you guys. So we have on our, do I have that one up? No, we have, let's see, rig check. If you were curious about running a node, and you should be curious because you might want to find out, oh, they make me sign in again. Find out how much money I could make off of my system. And again, these are all estimates because it's going to depend on how fast how many hours a day you leave your system up, these kinds of things. But there's a way to go. Because it recognizes that I'm a node operator. There's a rig check link that you can go to. Rig check. What am I looking up? Rig check. Here you go. So, again, it knows that I'm live. So if you go to app.yom.net/node/rig check, it's going to ask you to go ahead and run a quick program, and it'll tell you how fast your machine is. So if you're in an area where there's not a huge saturation of nodes, which is, big parts of the world right now, you have an opportunity to be the single node operator or one of very few node operators in your region, which means you get more and more work sent to your machine, which means you make more and more money than others. So that's the way the system works. Now we're really populated well in Europe right now, but that is by no means serving everyone who possibly wanted to play. So really, there's not a spot in the world that you couldn't set up and operate a node that wouldn't do well for you once we go to mainnet. You can find our nodes, our hardware. It is at freshminers.com/yom. So if you search freshminers.com, there are our partners, they're our distribution partners. What we're sending out are their SSDs are about this size. Where is their camera? Yeah, they're about that size. They're small, but this is the operating system. And the way, again, making sure that we're being transparent here with the people who are interested in in operating a node. We don't tie into your hard drive. We don't. All we really use is the remainder of the hardware, some RAM and your GPU and CPU. The operating system is on the drive. So what you do is you set up your system to boot off of that drive as opposed to your native hard drive. So we never pollute your system. We don't ask you to partition off, 2 terabytes of your hard drive so that you can run our system. The system stands alone and is securely fashioned away from your hard drive and your game data. That's intentional, and it makes it easier for you to operate the node. So our partner is freshminer.com. They have our nodes for sale. The first initial load, I think there's still some nodes available to go out. So if you're curious about doing that, run the rig check, make sure your system can actually run the node, and then from there go over to the Freshminer site and pick yourself up or give yourself a pre-order of those nodes. What have I not touched on yet? Any questions? I am in Delhi. You're in Delhi, India. Yeah, India is such a great gaming market. There has been so much. Many of the stories that I've gone through talk about how the gaming industry is really starting to bloom in India. But like you're saying, the hardware issue is the expense of the hardware is prohibitive for a lot of people in India. So they're looking to cloud gaming as a solution, and we're happy to provide them. Our solution. Ron is a lot of family in India. I think he's originally from India. So a lot of inroads into that region of the world, and we're going to certainly try to capitalize on it and help them find these high-end games. Have I gotten to all the questions? I think I have. If I haven't got your question, repeat it so I don't miss it. And if I have gotten to all your questions, and we may end up peacing out on a Good Friday afternoon. Give it a few seconds. I again appreciate everyone tuning in. I love doing these streams. I love talking to the community. I think we've got a great community who's already seeing what we're seeing, that the future is in decentralizing. Okay, question that's unanswered. Will there be enough space on the Nano for all the games in the future? It's a smart question, Dizzy. No, and the way that we have it set up is, in every region, say I'm running a node here, but there's Tactical Investing is running one down in Charleston, not too far from me. So if there's these games are really popular in the region, and my Nano, it's just 2 terabytes, it can handle a lot of games, but we can split the load over the nodes that are in the area. So it doesn't have to be all the nodes that are on our network, all the games on our network on a single node. I can have 5 and he can have 5, right? Or I can have 20 and he can have 20. And then we're still servicing this area. It's just that if this game's more popular than that, then it runs off of, as the games become more and more popular, and we see more and more, if we get people who are trying to hit a game, we can't satisfy the demand for that game. We'll add that game to more nodes, maybe taking off another game as we start running out of room. So our orchestrator, which is one of the patents that we have, watches the network, watches the activities, sees which games are becoming more popular, which ones are trending up, which ones are trending down, and it adds and takes off those games from all the nodes to make sure that the network is constantly balancing the games that are getting in demand in that region. I hope I answered that question for you. But 2 terabytes can handle a lot of games, but the orchestrator is what really does all the heavy lifting in that section. Well, cool. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, a good Friday to everybody. Happy Good Friday. He is risen on Sunday, and we can all be thankful for that. I wish you all peace. I wish you all health and happiness. We will talk again on Wednesday. Do something good for yourself. Drink lots of water and be healthy, and be kind. And we will see you all. I apologize. I think our guest was going to pop in, but I assume that he's busy heavily at work as well. Yeah, I got my message from him. He's all shagged out. So, well, let's get him some rest. All right. Have a good Friday, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Wednesday of next week. Be good. Cheers.